Okay. So very good morning to all of you. Good morning everyone. Yes, good morning. Yes, good morning. Are the voices being clear all okay? Tell me. Are the voices being clear? Is replying in the chat box. Are the voices being clear? Replying in the chat box. Are the voices being clear? Please reply in the chat box. Just reply me yes or no. Okay. Don't sit quietly. I'm expecting replies from you. So शांत हो सुनूंगा. Reply मत करा. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes or no? Okay. Yes. Yes. Fine. All right. Okay. Can you tell me what was the last point? Can you tell me what was the last point that we did? What we did in yesterday's lecture? DBB. Okay. We solved DBB. Fine. Now yesterday I gave you some of the questions from the DBB. Okay. The questions that you feel doubt, you can ask those doubts to me. Okay, or you can just I will send you my number, phone number to you. Okay. The extra questions that I send you as a homework. If you feel any doubt in any of the questions, you can ask that to me on the WhatsApp number. Okay. So I will send that number to you. Okay. Fine. So in this lecture we are going to start with the third part of motion. Okay, motion part 1 and part 2 we have covered. In today's lecture we will cover motion part 3. Okay, in today's lecture we will cover motion part number 3. So write down motion, same chapter, and the part 3 now. Okay, part number 3. Okay, fine. Now let us write down some definitions. You also write down along with me. Uniform motion. When you say motion is uniform motion, in bracket, uniform motion means uniform velocity. Okay, uniform motion means basically uniform velocity. Uniform velocity. When to say motion as uniform or when to say velocity as uniform? Write down. When magnitude, just keep on writing, when magnitude and direction of velocity, when magnitude and direction of velocity both are constant, direction is not changing as well as magnitude is not changing, both are constant. Both are constant. Constant means that is constant means what? Not changing. Constant means not changing with time. Not changing with time. We say motion is uniform. We say motion is uniform. Okay. Now uniform motion means uniform velocity. So change in velocity will be equal to what? Change in velocity is equal to delta V is equal to 0 because velocity is not changing. Therefore, change in velocity is equal to 0. Okay, and the value of acceleration. Value of acceleration. What is the value of acceleration? Value of acceleration is change in velocity upon time required. Change in velocity upon time required. But sir, motion is uniform motion, and uniform motion means uniform velocity. Uniform velocity means velocity not changing. Not changing means change in velocity is equal to 0. And if the change in velocity is equal to 0, divided by time required, acceleration for uniform motion. Value of acceleration for uniform motion is equal to 0. Value of acceleration for uniform motion is equal to 0, and value of change in velocity for uniform motion is equal to 0. For uniform motion means uniform velocity, change in velocity is 0, also the acceleration is 0. Up to this, write down in your notebook and then reply to the chat box clear and written. That I can write the next. Okay. Write it down and then reply in the chat box clear and written. CW. Try to understand. If you have doubt, you can ask. Okay. Done? Clear and written? Reply in the chat box. Everyone? Done? Good. Fine. Now let me write. Right now we have written about uniform motion. Uniform motion means uniform velocity. Now let me write uniform acceleration. Motion means uniform acceleration. When people say uniform motion, they means they try to mean uniform velocity. जेव्हा लोक युनिफॉर्म मोशन असं म्हणतात तेव्हा युनिफॉर्म वेलॉसिटी असते किंवा युनिफॉर्म मोशन म्हणतात तेव्हा आता काय म्हणतात uniformly accelerated motion. Okay, uniformly accelerated motion. Here we have said only uniform motion. Uniform motion means uniform velocity, and uniformly accelerated motion means uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration. Now acceleration is a vector. Okay, when you say any vector as a uniform or constant, when its magnitude and direction is not changing. So right now, when magnitude and direction, when magnitude and direction of acceleration, not velocity, acceleration. When magnitude and direction of acceleration is constant, we say uniformly accelerated motion. Uniformly accelerated motion. Okay, constant acceleration. Velocity constant ऐसे म्हटले का नाही. इथं velocity constant आहे. इथं acceleration constant आहे. इथं काय म्हणतो acceleration constant आहे. Okay, आणि इथं काय velocity constant आहे. Okay, so acceleration, we know acceleration is change in velocity upon time required. This acceleration is some constant value. Now you people tell me, This constant value can be other than 0 also, 5, 6, 7, 8. It can be a constant value, other constant value also. It means that the acceleration is not equal to 0 now. If the acceleration is 0, जर acceleration बरोबर 0 असेल तर काय म्हणायचं? Uniform motion म्हणायचं. Uniform motion म्हणजे काय? Uniform velocity. But in this case, velocity is not uniform. Here, acceleration is uniform. Acceleration constant पाहिजे. Okay. आता acceleration पाहिजे ना? Acceleration पाहिजे तर change in velocity पण पाहिजे. If acceleration is not equal to 0, if acceleration is not equal to 0, change in velocity is also not equal to 0. Change in velocity पण 0 असणार नाही. म्हणजे velocity change होणार. Velocity is not equal to 0. So change in velocity not equal to 0. म्हणजे velocity change होणार. If the velocity is changing, definitely velocity, if it is changing, you cannot say uniform velocity. So if the acceleration is uniform, velocity uniform nahi. Reply in the chat box up to this. Is that clear? बोला बोला. Everyone? Don't sit quietly. Try to reply in the chat box. There is one option on the screen. Screen where the chat नावाचा option असेल. Just click on that option and type reply. Okay, that won't take much time. Okay, just typing clear and written, that won't take much time. Okay, very good. Yes, clear and written. CW, so that I can move on to the next point. Yes. बघा काय म्हणते इथं काय युनिफॉर्म काय युनिफॉर्म आहे ऍक्सेलरेशन युनिफॉर्म म्हणजे ऍक्सेलरेशन आहे इथं ऍक्सेलरेशन नव्हतं हिअर द ऍक्सेलरेशन वॉज नॉट प्रेझेंट म्हणून 0 नॉट प्रेझेंट म्हणजे 0 ऍक्सेलरेशन पण नाहीये युनिफॉर्म वेलोसिटी म्हणजे वेलोसिटी चेंज होणार नाही सो वेलोसिटी चेंज होणार नाही सो चेंज इन वेलोसिटी इक्वल टू 0 आता चेंज इन वेलोसिटी 0 असेल तर ऍक्सेलरेशन पण 0 आलं पण इथं कसं आहे here acceleration is present uniformly accelerated motion म्हणजे acceleration present आहे acceleration present म्हणजे not equal to 0 आता एक not equal to 0 व्हॅल्यू लेफ्ट हँड साइडला आहे राइट हँड साइडला व्हॅल्यूज पण not equal to 0 पाहिजेत ना tell me yes or no तर acceleration not equal to 0 आहे आणि constant आहे not equal to 0 म्हणजे काय 5 असेल 7 असेल 3 असेल पण एक constant व्हॅल्यू असेल पण not equal to 0 तर not equal to 0 आन्सर यायला change in velocity equal not equal to 0 पाहिजे ना लेफ्ट हँड साइडला नाही तर सपोज समजा की change in velocity जर तुम्ही 0 घेतली if you take this change in velocity as 0 then answer will again come out equal to 0 no in this type of motion in uniformly accelerated motion acceleration is present अरे present आहे म्हणजे काय not equal to 0 absent आहे म्हणजे काय equal to 0 got it reply in the chat box now why I do this and this acceleration is not 0 the acceleration आहे changing velocity पण असणार yes done next now the next point is when to say non-uniform acceleration. Okay, uniform acceleration now we know. When to say non-uniform motion and non-uniform acceleration. Uniform motion we know, or uniform velocity we know. Uniformly accelerated motion that we know. Now let us discuss next point. The next point is here the point is uniform motion or the uniform velocity. Now let us discuss non-uniform motion or non-uniform velocity. So right now. Write down non-uniform motion, non-uniform. Write down non-uniform velocity, non-uniform velocity. The velocity is non-uniform means velocity is changing. So write down velocity is changing. आता velocity changing केव्हा म्हणायचं? velocity तर वेक्टर आहे म्हणजे एकतर मॅग्निट्यूड किंवा डायरेक्शन बदलत असणार किंवा बोथ आयदर मॅग्निट्यूड इज चेंजिंग or direction is changing or both are changing. So velocity is changing. The change in velocity आहे means what? Change in velocity is present. Present means what? Change in velocity is present. Present means not equal to zero. But velocity change is present. Velocity is changing. So change in velocity is present. Change in velocity zero नहीं है. Change in velocity not zero. Acceleration का है. Change in velocity upon height taken. Change in velocity present है. Change in velocity आहे. मग acceleration पण असणार म्हणजे किती? असणार म्हणजे not equal to zero. नसणार नाही म्हणजे zero. Not present means zero. Not present means zero. And present means not equal to zero. Reply in the chat box. बाळांनो हे समजलं का? Small c एक एक गोष्ट समजून घ्या. Expecting reply from anyone. Just reply the small c. Very good. Very good, Shekhar. इथपर्यंत समजलं का बघा? Velocity changing. Changing म्हणजे काय? Velocity चा change आहे means not equal to zero. Present means not equal to zero. Velocity change होती है. Velocity change होती है. ये change in velocity काही ना काहीतरी असणार not equal to zero. Acceleration पण असणार म्हणजे not equal to zero. कारण change in velocity present आहे तर acceleration पण present असणार. Everyone reply. Is this point clear to all of you? Why I have written this and why I have written this? This small c that won't take much time. Reply in the chat box. Okay. Yes. Good. Good. Fine. Now let us write next. Now we have written non-uniform motion. Okay, here uniform motion. Now here we wrote non-uniform motion. But sir, non-uniform motion is called as accelerated motion because acceleration is not equal to zero. म्हणजे acceleration आहे. आता acceleration आहे म्हणजे accelerated motion असं म्हणायचं. So write down non-uniform motion. Non-uniform motion is called accelerated motion. Accelerated motion कारण acceleration आहे. हाँ acceleration constant आहे की constant नहीं है माहित नहीं पर acceleration आहे म्हणजे not equal to zero. Acceleration is present. Whether it is constant or not, that we don't know, but acceleration is present. Okay, so non-uniform motion is called as accelerated motion. The acceleration constant असलं तर त्याला काय म्हणायचं? Uniformly accelerated motion. जर acceleration constant असेल तर त्याला काय म्हणायचं? Uniformly accelerated motion. आणि समजा acceleration constant नसेल तर काय म्हणायचं? Non-uniformly accelerated motion. Non-uniformly accelerated motion. म्हणजे काय? Non-uniform acceleration. म्हणजे constant नसणार acceleration. Non-uniform acceleration. Just keep on writing, you will get it. Okay. So acceleration आहे. Acceleration is present. Acceleration is present. Keep on writing. Acceleration is present. Acceleration तर आहे म्हणजे not equal to zero. पण ते constant आहे का? नाही. ते uniform acceleration आहे का? Non-uniform acceleration. So acceleration is present, but acceleration is not constant. is not constant. Not constant म्हणजे तो चेंजिंग आहे. एक्सेलरेशन चेंज व्हायला लागतं. एक्सेलरेशन चेंज झालं तेव्हा म्हणायचं मला जेव्हा डायरेक्शन बदलेल एक्सेलरेशनची किंवा मॅग्निट्यूड बदलेल. ओके, when the direction of acceleration changes or when the magnitude of acceleration changes, at that situation, at that point we will say the acceleration is changing or not constant. म्हणजे एक्सेलरेशन तर आहे. आता मला सांगा एक्सेलरेशन आहे. एक्सेलरेशन आहे म्हणजे चेंज इन वेलोसिटी असलाच पाहिजे. एक्सेलरेशन आहे म्हणजे चेंज इन वेलोसिटी असलाच पाहिजे. एक्सेलरेशन वेक्टर आहे ना, सो बार लिहायचं. ए बार डेल्टा बी बार टी पण वेक्टर आहे. ओके, एक्सेलरेशन आहे. एक्सेलरेशन इज प्रेजेंट, so change in velocity also present. So change in velocity also present. Change in velocity पण असणार. तर चेंज इन वेलोसिटी असणार म्हणजे काय? चेंज इन वेलोसिटीची व्हॅल्यू किती पाहिजे? 0 पाहिजे का? नाही. अब्सेंट आहे का? तो नाही. चेंज इन वेलोसिटी प्रेझेंट आहे. चेंज इन वेलोसिटी इज नॉट इक्वल टू 0. चेंज इन नॉट इक्वल टू 0. नॉट इक्वल टू 0 म्हणजे आहे. इक्वल टू 0 म्हटलं की अब्सेंट आणि नॉट इक्वल टू 0 म्हटलं की प्रेझेंट. बघा बघा इथे समजलं का? डिप्लाइन डिशन बॉक्स क्लियर अँड रिटर्न थोडा थोडा नवीन गोष्टी समजल्या. Replying in chat box. Yes, everyone. Very good. Yes. Radha, Saeed, Shidhar, Varun, Yani, expecting reply from everyone. Luna, Rishi, Ayer, Bhavana, Disha, Sonala, are you getting this? Yes. Clear and written, sir. Okay, sir. Yes. Clear and written. Okay. Done? Reply same वेळ लागतो का? थांबू का थोडा वेळ? लिहायला वेळ लागतो का? चला वेट. थोडंसं थांबलं पाहिजे का थोडा? एकदा वाजायच्या आधी किंवा मागितल्यानंतर? Okay, fine. I will wait for some time so that you can reply in the chat. Okay, here onwards I will wait for some time so that you can reply in the chat. All right. Fine. Okay. Now let us move on to the next page. Chala. Fine. Now we know what is uniform motion, what is non-uniform motion, what is uniformly accelerated motion, what is non-uniformly accelerated motion, and all those things. Okay, when the velocity is constant, when the velocity is not constant, when the acceleration is constant, and when the acceleration is not constant, all those things that we know. Okay, fine. So now write down a note. For one-dimensional motion, if value of velocity is increasing, if value of velocity is increasing, we take acceleration as positive. Velocity ची व्हॅल्यू वाढत असते वन डायमेन्शनल मोशन मध्ये or one dimensional motion. Okay, if the value of velocity is increasing, velocity ची व्हॅल्यू जर वाढत असेल तर बाळांनो acceleration काय घ्यायचं? पॉझिटिव्ह. Okay, and if value or magnitude of velocity you can say, and if value of velocity is decreasing. Velocity ची value decrease होत असते. If value of velocity is decreasing, we take acceleration as negative. This is the sign convention. Okay, plus sign वापरायचं, plus वापरायचं, minus वापरायचं. Okay, if the value of velocity is decreasing, we take acceleration as negative. We take acceleration as negative. Okay, fine, sir. All right. So acceleration positive केव्हा जर velocity ची value increase होत असेल आणि acceleration negative केव्हा if the velocity value is decreasing. Okay, this is true for one dimensional motion. This is true for one dimensional motion. One dimensional motion म्हणजे काय मग motion on the straight line sir. One dimensional motion म्हणजे काय motion on the straight line. Okay sir, fine. Okay, now up to this point in dimension box here and take your time, understand this, and then reply in the chat box. Clear and see the video. Everyone. Okay. Yes. Okay. Done. Up to this point, clear and written. Yes. Okay. समझा रहे हैं? These are new things we are learning now. Okay. Part 3, motion part 3 we are started. We have started today. So some new things we are writing down. Okay. Yes, sir. Chalo, next. Equations of uniformly accelerated motion. Chalo, now we are going to write equations. Equations of uniformly accelerated motion. Uniformly accelerated motion. बोला बोला. In this motion, acceleration is constant or not constant? C or N, C for constant, N for not constant. In this type of motion, acceleration is constant or not constant? Everyone reply in the chat box. You are here. Constant or not constant? Everyone fast. या टाइपच्या मोशन मध्ये युनिफॉर्मली ऍक्सेलरेटेड मोशन. युनिफॉर्मली ऍक्सेलरेटेड मोशन. आता ऍक्सेलरेटेड मोशन आहे जे मोशन मध्ये ऍक्सेलरेशन आहे. आहे म्हणजे 1 equal to 0. तर याची काय ऍक्सेलरेशन आहे? कसं आहे? युनिफॉर्म आहे. इज व्हॉट ऍक्सेलरेशन व्हॅल्यू इज कॉन्स्टंट सर. राइट डाउन here the acceleration is here the acceleration is constant. Here the acceleration is constant and it is present. ये आहे constant पण आहे present पण आहे. झिरो नाही आहे. ओके, कारण मोशन कशी आहे ऍक्सेलरेटेड मोशन. नुसतीच युनिफॉर्म मोशन आहे का? नुसतीच युनिफॉर्म मोशन असेल तर नाही ऍक्सेलरेशन नसतं. पण ऍक्सेलरेटेड मोशन म्हणजे की ऍक्सेलरेशन आहे म्हणजे ऍक्सेलरेशन इज प्रेझेंट. आणि कसं आहे ते युनिफॉर्म ऍक्सेलरेशन, ते कॉन्स्टंट ऍक्सेलरेशन. ओके सर. सो अशा कॉन्स्टंट ऍक्सेलरेशन असणाऱ्या मोशनचे आपल्याला काय करायचे आहे इक्वेशन्स द्यायचे. ओके, हियर वी वांट टू राइट इक्वेशन्स ऑफ मोशन for the constant acceleration. Equations of motion in which constant acceleration is present that we are going to write. Okay, so write down first equation of motion. First equation of motion. Okay, here we are considering motion in one dimension. Okay, here we are considering motion in one dimension. Okay, for time being, all the motions, all the equations will be written only for one dimension. Okay, and then we can use these equations for 2D and 3D also in the upcoming sections. But for time being, everything will be written only for one dimensional motion. Okay, sir. Fine. So, sir, acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon time required. Yes. Sir, can I write change in velocity as final velocity? minus initial velocity, minus initial velocity upon final time instance, minus initial time instance is changing time is final time instance minus initial time instance. Okay. So sir, can I write acceleration as A is a start point, first equation? Sir, can I write final velocity as v? Yes. Can I write the initial velocity as u? Yes. Final velocity as v, initial velocity u is minus sign as it is divided by final time. Sir, I want to write final time as t minus, sir, I want to write initial time as u. So actually, this is time interval, delta t, time required. Time required of the time interval can be written as, sir, final time minus initial time. But generally, most of the cases, initial time is taken as 0, so final time is equal to t, t minus 0 is equal to t. So instead of delta t, some people will write t also, no problem. Final velocity v minus initial velocity u. Okay, now let us do the multiplication. This p on the left hand side, 18 is equal to v minus u. Okay, now let us interchange the sides. V minus u is equal to 18. Okay, left hand side, right hand side interchange, and this v on the left hand side as it is. This minus u, let us put that on the right hand side. This minus u, let us put that on the right hand side. That will become plus u, and this plus 80 as it is. Plus 80 as it is. Okay, write this down. Try to understand this and then reply in the chat box. These equations are v is equal to u plus 80. Reply in the chat box. Clear and written CW. For clear, W for written. Very good, Rana. You have to write down along with me. Okay? Very good, you put. माझ्याबरोबर पाहून घ्यायचं. जे परत थांबावं लागतं नाही. आणि लीड समजते. ओके, मी स्लो सांगतो त्यामुळे लीड समजते. very good, शीतल. Done? Good. So first equation of question is b is equal to, sir, u plus 18. Do you know this equation? आधी माहित होतं तुम्हाला हे इक्वेशन? बरोबर. तुम्हाला हे आधी कसं माहित होतं? b is equal to u plus 18. हां, सांगा बरं. b is equal to u plus 18 माहित होतं का तुम्हाला? Yes, no reply करा. Okay, are you saying yes? Why are you? Yes, no reply करा बरं. चेक करून तुम्हाला पुढे पुढे आता सगळ्यांना माहित झालं. Now everyone knows b is equal to u plus 18. Yes. Equations of motion given by Newton. Yes, yes. Newton's equations of motion, or simply equations of motion. हाँ, करा वाला रिप्लाई करा. करा वाला वही equation b is equal to u plus 18 आधी गोष्ट. आता तर आपण derive केलं. Now we have derived it. Final velocity v, initial velocity u, final time t, initial time is u. Okay. Fine. So now this is our first equation of motion. What is that? B is equal to u plus 8. Okay. So now our second equation will be. Let us move on to the second equation. Second equation of motion. First equation of motion is B is equal to u plus 8. Let us move on to the second equation of motion. Write down. Right. Second equation of motion. Second equation of motion. Second equation of motion. Of course, right now we are considering one-dimensional motion. Right now we are considering one dimensional motion. Okay. So here now we will derive the formula for distance traveled. In the first equation, we derive formula for velocity. We derive formula for velocity. Final velocity is equal to initial velocity plus acceleration into time required for the motion. Okay, delta t mana किंवा t mana. Delta t is the time interval or the time required for the motion. T is also time interval or the time required for the motion. Okay, so in the first equation, in the first equation of motion, we derive the formula for final velocity. Now let us derive the formula for distance traveled. Okay, so write down distance traveled, or it is a straight line motion, so you can take it as a displacement also, no problem. Distance traveled is equal to, write down along with me, average velocity for the motion multiplied by time required, for the motion, Okay, so let's say this is our motion. Let's say this is our initial point A. Let's say this is our final point B. Okay. Let us call the distance traveled from point A to B is small s. Okay, motion is from point A to B. Motion is with acceleration. Acceleration आहे म्हणजे change in velocity आहे. म्हणजे velocity change होणार. Okay. Here initial velocity is u. म्हणजे point A ला start point ला velocity u. Final velocity end point ला final velocity v. Okay. I and I, the initial, F I N, the final. B initial is U, B final is D. Okay, sir. Final initial velocity U आहे, final velocity D आहे, distance traveled S आहे, A पासून B पर्यंत जायला टाइम किती लागतो? सर स्मॉल t लागतो. Okay. Distance traveled S घेतलेला आहे आणि टाइम रिक्वायर्ड स्मॉल t घेतलेला आहे. Okay. So, sir, to find out distance traveled, let us write distance traveled S is equal to, sir, what is the average velocity of this motion? For the uniformly accelerated motion, जर acceleration constant असेल तर त्या constant acceleration असणाऱ्या मोशनचं average velocity जी असते, velocity आधी u होती, finally v झाली, on an average किती होती? Initial velocity plus final velocity upon 2 हे लक्षात ठेवा. For time being हे लक्षात ठेवा. Average velocity किती येणार? Initial velocity u आहे, final velocity v आहे, on an average किती येणार? u plus v upon 2 बरोबर. त्याच्या ऍडिशनच्या हाफ v plus u upon 2 मल्टिप्लाइड बाय टाइम रिक्वायर्ड. a पासून b पर्यंत जायला टाइम रिक्वायर्ड किती येत आहे? आपण t. टाइम रिक्वायर्ड इज t. बरोबर. s is equal to this. Okay, so let us call this as equation number 1 for time being. But we know that v is equal to u plus at. तो बाळांनो v is equal to काय असते? u plus at असते. मग आता बाळांनो हा v आपण रिप्लेस करायचा. Or this as equation 2. Write down. Using equation 2, हे तर आपल्याला ऑलरेडी माहिती आहे ना, v is equal to u plus at वाला. So using equation 2 in equation 1 काय होते बघा, distance traveled s is equal to this u as this plus, आता बाळांनो v च्या ऐवजी instead of v what we have to put u plus a. Instead of v we have to put u plus a. ओके. आता जेव्हा आपण रिप्लेसमेंट करा, कुठली रिप्लेसमेंट केली तर लगेच ब्रॅकेट टाकायचं. म्हणजे कळतंय this u is here. लोकांना कळते हा u इथे आहे, हा प्लस साइन इथे आहे आणि d रिप्लेस झाला म्हणून त्याला एक ब्रॅकेट टाकायचं. d रिप्लेस केली की जनरली ब्रॅकेट टाकायचं. डिवाइड बाय 2 as this into multiplied by this small t as this. व्यवस्थित प्रॉपरली ब्रॅकेट टाका, multiplied by t. ओके. ते आता हा s वाला as this राहतो. ओके, आता हा ब्रॅकेट जरा सॉल्व करू. u प्लस दिस u as it is प्लस 80 as it is. काय आहे, प्लस ना आत मल्टिप्लाय करा, प्लस ना आत मल्टिप्लाय करा म्हणजे प्लस 1 ना आत मल्टिप्लाय करा. u as it is राहील, 80 as it is राहील, डिवाइडेड बाय 2 मल्टिप्लाइड बाय, या सगळ्याला काय करायचं आपण 3 ने मल्टिप्लाय करायचं. ओके, u plus u is equal to 2u plus this 80 बरोबर अपॉन this 2 मल्टिप्लाइड this 3. आता हा 2 सेपरेट करा म्हणून काय 2u अपॉन 2u प्लस 80 अपॉन 2 80 अपॉन मल्टिप्लाइड बाय this स्मॉल t मल्टिप्लाइड बाय this स्मॉल t. आता बाजू स्मॉल t ना आत मल्टिप्लाय करा, u ला t ने मल्टिप्लाय करा ut प्लस 80 अपॉन 2 ला मल्टिप्लाय करा 80 स्क्वेअर अपॉन थोडंसं व्यवस्थित लिहिलेलं आहे राईट प्रॉपरली. s is equal to ut this 1 by 2 let me write separate plus sign as it is. 2 जे डिनोमिनेटर मध्ये आहे let us write it as 1 by 2 this a as it is this t square as it is. So काय झालं s is equal to ut plus half t square. Is that okay? s is equal to ut plus half t square. Write it down. Everyone write this down and then reply in the chat box now. Up to this, is that clear and written? आता हे सगळं सोपं वाटेल तुम्हाला, इझी वाटेल राईट. s is equal to ut plus half t square. Very good, Radha. Everyone take your time, write it down, understand it. If you have doubt, you can ask. And then reply in the chat box, clear and written, CW. Good. Done? Okay. Done? Done? Written? Okay, fine. So याला काय म्हणतात बघा सेकंड इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन. ओके, दिस इक्वेशन इज कॉल्ड एज सेकंड इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन. हे काय होतं फर्स्ट इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन v is equal to u plus a. याला काय म्हणतात बघा सेकंड इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज सेकंड इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन. केव्हा वापरायचं पाहिजे इक्वेशन? व्हेन टू यूज दिस इक्वेशन? व्हेन एक्सेलरेशन इज कॉन्स्टंट. कॉन्स्टंट पाहिजे, चेंज नाही. वेलोसिटी चेंज होते दॅट इज ओके, velocity change होते that is okay, and acceleration constant, that should not change. Acceleration should be constant, it should not change. Okay, done up to this? Reply in the chat box up to this. जाऊ मी पुढच्या पेज वरती जाऊ. Anyone just reply me yes no? इथपर्यंत सगळं झालं बा. थर्ड इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन करूया. चला बा थर्ड इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन. आज तिन्हीच्या तिन्ही इक्वेशन समजले. There are 3 equations of motion and we are today deriving all the 3 equations. Okay, so write down third equation of motion. Third equation of motion. Okay, so the distance traveled is equal to average speed multiplied by time required. Okay, multiplied by time required. Okay, fine, no problem. So what is the average speed? Initial speed plus final speed. Initial speed is u, final speed is v upon 2. Average initial speed plus final speed upon 2. Multiplied by time required. This time required is small t. For time being, call this equation as 1. For time being, call this equation as 1. Okay. Now what we are going to do is this. We are going to replace this time. आपण काय करायचं बघ? आपण या टाइमला रिप्लेस करायचं. Now मगाशी काय केलं होतं? v ला रिप्लेस केलं होतं. बरोबर ना? राइट अंडरस्टँड? या v ला रिप्लेस केलं होतं. u plus 18. v ला रिप्लेस केलं होतं. we replace this v by u plus 18. Now we will be replacing time. आता बघा टाइम साठी रिप्लेसमेंट शोधूया. Now we want to replace we want to replace v, no, not v, time v replace करून टाकू. Now we want to replace it. we already know v is equal to u plus 80. v काय असतं? u plus 80 असतं. यातनं काय करूया आपण? यातनं आपण पहिल्यांदा टाइमची रिप्लेसमेंट शोधून काढूया. So let us put this 80 on the left hand side, this u as it is, okay, this v on the right hand side. Sir, it's not like that. This v as it is, this u on the left hand side. So u minus is equal to 8. Now interchange these sides. Left side right kara, right side left side kara. Now you can find out acceleration. Sorry, not acceleration, time. Now you can find out replacement for time. Time like what? Time is equal to, sir, v minus u upon a. v minus u upon a. याला इक्वेशन बनवतो 2 असतो. इथपर्यंत पहिल्यांदा लिहून घ्या, समजून घ्या. दोन इक्वेशन्स पहिल्यांदा समजून. आता आपल्याला टाइम रिप्लेस करायचा आहे. पण टाइम साठी रिप्लेसमेंट पहिल्यांदा सरांनी शोधून काढली. चेक करा, समजलं का? v is equal to u plus 80. u left ना पाठवणार minus u सांगतो 80 as it is. मग इंटरचेंज केली. राइट हँड साइडला लेफ्ट आणलं, लेफ्ट हँड साइडला राइट आणलं. सो टाइम इज v minus u upon a. बघा समजलं का? बोला पट बोला. अप्लाइंग चेक बॉक्स क्लियर आहे. दो इक्वेशन समजून पहिल्यांदा. Yes. थोड़ा समझ लो. Okay. तुम्हाला स्मॉल क्लियर आहे रिटर्न. दोन इक्वेशन समजलं का? आता आपल्याला यातला टाइम रिप्लेस करायचा होता. तो टाइम रिप्लेस करायसाठी आपण टाइमची रिप्लेसमेंट आपण शोधून काढेल. ओके, काय आहे टाइमची रिप्लेसमेंट? सर, v minus u upon a. ओके, सो नाउ पुट हियर, putting equation 2 in equation 1. आता इक्वेशन 2 जी आहे ती इक्वेशन 1 मध्ये यूज करूया. ओके, s as it is equal to u plus v upon 2 as it is, u plus v upon 2 as it is, bracket complete into time. Here is the time value is v minus u upon a. So write down here v minus u upon a. v minus u upon a. आता बोला, can I write this like this? u plus v multiplied by v minus u upon 2 into a, 2a. This s as it is. So this 2a on the left hand side, it will become 2as. 2a on the left hand side will become 2as. Can I write u plus v as v plus u? चालते ना? Addition मध्ये sequence change करू शकतो. Sequence does not matter for addition. So u plus v will be replaced by v plus u. Okay. Into bracket v minus u is 2a on the left hand side. बोला आता बघा याचा आन्सर काय येईल? कोण सांगेल? v plus u multiplied by v minus v. A plus b multiplied by a minus b. याचा आन्सर काय असेल? याचा आन्सर काय असेल? a plus b into a minus b. हां, बघूया कोण सांगतंय? लेट मी चेक. स्क्वेअर साठी तुम्ही फक्त असं लिहिलं तरी चालेल. स्क्वेअर जर लिहिता येत नसेल तर s2r असं लिहिलं तरी चालेल. नुसतं s2 लिहिलं तरी चालेल. स्क्वेअर. बोला मला. a plus b into a minus b चा आन्सर काय असेल? What is the value of a plus b into a minus b? Mathematics. Simple है ना? काय आन्सर? What is the value of a plus b into a minus b? So the value is yes, a square minus b square. बरोबर ना? चला काही रिझल्ट्स लिहून ठेवा. a plus b चा ब्रॅकेट स्क्वेअर काय असतो? सर a square plus b square plus 2ab. a minus b चा ब्रॅकेट स्क्वेअर काय असतो बा? सर a square plus b square minus 2ab. आणि बा a plus b multiplied by a minus b काय असतो? a square minus b square असतो. काय असतो? a square minus b square असतो. b म्हणजे a आहे आणि u म्हणजे b आहे. a plus b multiplied by a minus b म्हणजे a square minus b square. a square म्हणजे b square minus b square. b square minus u square. a plus b multiplied by a minus b तसं b plus u multiplied by b minus u, b square minus u square. b square minus u square. Write down this extra data, extra list of formulae. Write down. Okay, sir, we want the formula for b square. Fine. This is 2as on the left hand side as it is. 2as on the left hand side as it is. This minus u square comes on the right hand side. It will become plus u square. This becomes b square. So interchange the sides. b square is equal to this entire thing on the right hand side. 2as plus u square. A small rearrangement. Let me do the small rearrangement. This b square is equal to sequence of addition does not matter. Addition मध्ये कुठला कोण पहिला कोण दुसरा मॅटर करत नाही. सो u स्क्वेअर पहिल्यांदा आणि हे 2as. सो u स्क्वेअर प्लस 2as. बोला बघा. थर्ड इक्वेशन ऑफ क्वेश्चन. b square is equal to u square plus 2as. समजलं का? Everyone reply in the chat box. Third equation of motion. b square is equal to u square plus twice as. Very good. Very good. Yes. Third equation of motion. Clear and written? Third equation of motion. Very good. So in this way, we have derived 3 equations of motion. केव्हा वापरायचे पाहतो हे 3 equations? When the acceleration is uniform, acceleration constant पाहिजे. Velocity change झाली चालेल, no problem. पण acceleration constant पाहिजे. If the acceleration is constant, in that situation, these 3 equations we can use. Okay, if the acceleration is constant, we can use these 3 equations. Okay, these 3 equations have been given to us by Newton. Okay, great scientist Newton, right? Fine. So let us write down all the 3 equations on the single page. So write down. Write down 3 equations of motion. 3 equations of motion. Okay. First equation is v is equal to u plus at. V is final velocity, u is initial velocity, a is acceleration, t is time required for the motion. V is equal to u plus at. Second equation is s is equal to ut plus half at square. S is equal to ut plus half at square. And third equation is v square is equal to u square plus twice as. V square is equal to u square plus twice as. These three equations we have to remember. Okay, these three equations we have to remember. Write down a note. Use these equations. Use these equations only when acceleration is constant. Acceleration is constant or uniform. Only when acceleration is uniform in bracket constant. Uniform in bracket constant. Up to this point, is that clear? क्लियर आहे की आज भरपूर रिले आपण आणि बऱ्याच सगळ्या गोष्टी पण समजल्या आपल्याला. reply in the chat box. Up to this clear and written. शेवटचा पॉइंट आहे हा. त्याच्यानंतर आपण थांबू, पण त्याच्या आधी मला रिप्लाय करा. समजलं काय समजलं? व्हेरी गुड. Are the all points got in today's lecture clear to all of you? तीन equations आपण derive केल्या. V is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, and v square is equal to u square plus twice s. These three equations now we have derived, and now we have to remember these equations. Okay. So in this lecture, guys, we are going to stop at this point, remaining things. Okay, we are going to learn in the next lecture. Okay. Chalo, bye bye everyone. Have a very nice day. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the next lecture also. Okay. Chalo, bye bye everyone. Yes, have a nice day.